Welcome. This is Mentoring with the Masters. I will be speaking with you this afternoon about strategies for making your life work. My name is Alexa Schur-Hartley, and I am a commercial litigator and an organizational and executive coach with Premier Leadership Coaching. In thinking about strategies for making your life work, I think the number one item is being an expert time manager. So some ways that you can really manage your time most effectively, some ways are, I make a list of to-do items. So I mark what I need to do when it needs to be completed by. I check those things off when they've been completed so that they're off the list. And I make sure to have a system for marking priority items. So for instance, when I'm in a meeting, I take really careful notes about the tasks that people are talking about that need to be attended to. And after the meeting, I go through with my assistant and I mark what I need to do, what I need to follow up on, what other people need to do, what they need to follow up on, and I delegate wherever possible. So sometimes it's not appropriate to delegate. The attorneys you're working with want you to handle that thing personally. But if there are areas where you can delegate and supervise, but delegate, it's really important to do that because it frees you up for other items. Another really important thing is setting your priorities. So you have to understand that there are only so many hours in a day, and even if you manage that time brilliantly, you can't do everything all the time. So you have to figure out what's really important to you, and you have to do those things, and only you know. So other people can tell you this is what needs to get done, this is what needs to not get done, but the truth of the matter is you know your job and you know your life, and you're the one who's in control, and you need to set your own priorities. And once you set your priorities, you have to be really, really flexible. So you may prioritize things 1 through 5, and you may find that that's not working. And you have to be prepared to ditch plan A and go to plan B. And I often go to plan C or plan D. And my goal is to simply find the plan that's going to work for me and help me get the things done that I need to get done. So a way that I do that is I try to kill 2 birds with 1 stone wherever possible. An example is that I have a case where opposing counsel and I both run, and we need to talk about a discovery dispute. So we will do that over a run. So I get in my exercise, I'm able to address this issue with opposing counsel. I wasn't put in a position where I had to choose one over the other. And because I was able to multitask those 2 items, it frees me up to do something else. And I really look at that, and I do that whenever possible. So if there is a networking opportunity that's a family-friendly opportunity, I try to combine those 2 things. Something else that's really important is to schedule time for yourself. So when you're managing your time and you're prioritizing your time, that doesn't just mean doing it within the context of work. You have work obligations, you have family obligations, you have social obligations, but you also have obligations for yourself. And if you don't schedule time for those obligations to yourself, you are going to burn out. That's not going to benefit you professionally. It's not going to benefit you personally. So you must schedule that time, and you must respect that time the same way you would in a meeting with a very important partner. Lastly, I think it's really helpful to be positive. The words we choose when we describe things, they reflect how we feel about them, but perhaps more importantly, they really influence how we feel about them. So we have the ability to control how we experience our professional life by using positive words. And you have to acknowledge your effort and you have to acknowledge your hard work. There aren't always people around you who are going to acknowledge it for you. So it's really important that you're kind to yourself and you give yourself a pat on the back. So circling back to the to-do list, when you have a to-do list and you look at it and you've been able to accomplish 2/3 of what's on that list, you need to acknowledge that for yourself. When you've accomplished all the items, do a little celebration. So be good to yourself and be positive. Something else that works, I think, really with most anything is finding someone in your firm or your life or an organization that you're a part of who you can really look to for guidance, and someone who looks like they've done it successfully. So there may be someone you work with and you think, okay, they have a very similar workload, they have a similar family situation, and they've really done a good job, they seem happy, they are a mom, or they're really involved in the community, and try to look at what they've done and pick up their tips. People, in my experience, people are really happy to talk to you about themselves and what they do and what's worked for them. And if you approach people in the right way, they will share with you their secrets and their tips. So a lot of the things I've done with time management are not things that I came up with on my own. They're not things that I knew how to do as a second or third year associate, but they are things that I've really learned from the people that I've practiced. And particularly the delegating. I think early in your career, it's not always comfortable to feel that it's appropriate to hand things off. And that's another thing you can turn to the people you work with to try to get a better sense of. Is this something that is appropriate for me to give to a paralegal? Is it not? And again, look to the guidance of others. And the same with prioritizing to some degree. You might have some work obligations that you're not sure whether they are obligations. There may be a firm social event, and it may also be your mother's birthday, and it may not be clear to you whether this particular firm's social event is something that you're able to miss. And go to those around you and ask them, and make sure you do that data collection. Don't put yourself in a position where you're really making those decisions on your own in the bubble without the benefit of the wisdom of others. Again, even when it feels like you don't have control over your life, at the end of the day, it's your life and they're your choices, and you really do have control to make your life and your career what you want it to be. And in those moments where things feel out of control, because we absolutely all have those moments, and it's okay to have those moments, you don't always have to be positive. Give yourself an outlet to feel whatever it is you're feeling. Do what you need to do to get through that moment. So if you need to take 10 deep breaths, take your deep breaths, take a run around the block, whatever it is. But after you've had your moment and things feel more under control, just step back and look at how you can constructively work the problem. Are there ways you can improve on your time management? Are there ways that you can prioritize differently? And just keep reminding yourself it's really your career and you're able to make it what you need to make it. So I hope this has been helpful, and I wish you the best of luck in your practice, and thank you very much for stopping by and listening.